we're going to go over the blog post, and the blog post is in two parts. One is going to explain the unification and conversion of all existing currency into the shop credits. We're going to talk about what that means and what it means to you. And then the second part of the post is going to refer to the Intel store. And I'm going to say I'm pretty excited about this because it looks like it's going to have items of high interest. So before I read this post, I want to explain the benefit and the reasoning of what they're trying to do. Is right now we have this clump of unused currency, and many people have acquired, ridiculous amounts of blitz credits, 500,000. Look, I got 6.4 million raid. Arena, I've got 500,000. War, 2.5, and so on and so on. I've got high amounts of these currencies. And what is happening today is when I win in Crucible, I get that currency and it doesn't mean much to me. And the developers are unwilling to put good items in that store because everybody's acquired millions. So it's kind of a problem that they created, and now we've got massive amounts of hoarding and there's not much to do with it. So what they're going to do is they're going to take all of that currency that is just acquired in large stockpile amounts, and they're going to convert it into one lump currency. And then going forward, instead of awarding Crucible currency, they're going to award a new currency called Intel currency. So when I win in Crucible for the week, I'm going to get Intel currency, and the Intel currency is going to be valuable, and we're going to want to get that. Now, this conversion, let's just read what it is, and then I'll explain why this is a neutral thing in a lot of ways. As far as there's not going to be I convert all my blitz credits and I get to buy cool stuff. No, it's just going to be consolidating everything into one currency that's easy to understand. And I think one day, eventually, they're just going to have one store for all of the stuff that you could normally buy and all this. But my understanding is that's not going to happen right away. So let's just read it. The Age of Annihilus and the New Age of Marvel Strike Force continues today with important currency conversion details and a first look at some of the Intel Store items. As we mentioned in our Intel Store blog, we're streamlining the currencies of Marvel Strike Force while also making character unlocks and resource acquisition easier than ever before. Here are the next steps for the new stores and related currency. All right, currency conversion, unifying the store currencies. Part of the unification process is retiring many of our game mode currencies and converting old balances to shop credits. Marvel Strike Force new long-term currency. Note that this conversion is targeted to take place on May 22nd, and you expect the following rates with potential for slight changes. So in the other posts with RJ, in that 3-part interview that was done on the YouTube channels with the strike time, they referred to it as a legacy currency, but I guess they're officially going to call it shop credits. So this is going to be some sort of equalization, and they give the ratios. Blitz credits will have 1-4, gear credits will be 5-1, and so on. And this conversion is going to happen on the 22nd, and instead of having all of these different currencies, there's a whole host of them here, we'll just have one lumped currency and one amount. We know that the mode stores are not equal in terms of the value they provide, so we'll be also adjusting store cost and item quantities to help you sure that you won't lose any currency value due to the conversion. And so what that means to me, and my understanding, is that if we take a look at the raid store right here, and you can see that I have a bunch of currency and a bunch of items I can buy in the raid store. Well, there's going to be a conversion done right here to the raid store, as outlined right here. It's going to be a 1-to-2 ratio. Well, the prices and the value that is going to be in shop credit is going to change in some sort of similar ratio. And that's kind of what's stated right here. We know that mode stores are not equal in terms of the value they provide. So we'll also be adjusting store cost and item quantities to help you ensure you won't lose any currency value due to the conversion. So the amount of rocket shards that you could buy today will be the same on the 22nd once these conversions. Now the numbers may a little bit differently, but my understanding is that nobody's going to miss out on their ability to purchase rocket shards and the quantity of rocket shards. I know it sounds a little bit silly, but that's the kind of the point. is that they're going to have eventually someday one legacy currency and then one unified shop for all of those stores. Now, it's not going to happen right away. On the 22nd, basically, these will convert to green to some other new shop currency, and then all the prices will change as well. And instead of having all these different currencies, there'll be just one lump currency. All right, let's read a little bit more on the post. Additional transitions leading up to the currency conversion on May 22nd will also be swapping mode currencies out from events, milestones, and several other places. Here are the important dates to keep in mind as we make these changes. So basically, there are other places in the game that these currencies exist, and they're going to be getting rid of that. Through the 1st through the 6th, existing offers that include mode currencies will expire and be replaced with updated offers. Stores offers containing war and elite war credits will be removed. Then through the 1st and the 22nd, sources of existing mode currencies will change over to Intel. So this is what I was talking about, is instead of being awarded arena credits or crucible credits or war credits, we will be getting Intel credits. And we'll talk about the Intel store here in a moment. Sources of existing gear credits will change over to shop credits, not including the existing first-time rewards. Note, you won't be able to spend shop credits yet, because my understanding is that that won't start working until the 22nd. But you can still spend older currencies in the existing shops if you choose to do so. On the 5th, Intel Store officially launches alongside Chapter 1 content. So the Intel Store, which is going to be the second part of this post, is going to have things that I'm going to want, and I will be getting that currency from the existing modes that we're assigning the old legacy credits like arena credits. So I'm going to get a certain amount of Intel credits from winning an arena on a daily basis. Make sense? Anyways, on the 14th, time heist offers containing gear credits will be temporarily removed from the store. On the 19th, time heist offers will be added back to the store with shop credits. Okay, fine. Then basically the 22nd is when all of this is going to happen. This is when the currency is converted. Achievements for spending blitz and arena and raid credits will be removed from the game, and new achievements will take their place at a later date. Then we'll read this, and then we'll move on to the second part of the post, which is the Intel shop. Lastly, as part of this transition, we're excited to announce that there'll be 2 opportunities to earn some bonus Intel. On May 2nd, a global milestone event will go live with Intel as the big reward. We will also be celebrating the launch of the Intel store with a calendar of Intel for you to spend. Be sure to log in daily to claim this bonus Intel. Later in the month, we'll be providing a bonus amount of shop credits to all players to make sure we start the Age of Annihilus right. So, in very short terms, all of those old currencies that were mentioned above will be lumped into one, and then all the items that you used to be able to buy with those currencies will be available for that new currency at a similar ratio, is my understanding. Going forward, doing well in Crucible and in Ward, in raids and in war and so on, we will get a new seasonal currency known as Intel. And the easiest way that I can explain this is we do have seasonal shops right now. Like, for example, we have a temporary shop right now known as X Coins. You can see that this expires in 16 days. Something similar is going to happen with the Intel store. My understanding is going to happen on a chapter basis, so like every 90 days. That was a lot of information to cover. We may have other updates to share, but let's get into the big news. What you can use your hard-earned Intel on the Intel store, ? As we mentioned in a previous blog, the Intel store will evolve as the chapter progresses. So you'll see more and more items included over time. And I'm going to guess on this, but like we know what the next team is going to be, the Thunderbolts. And I'm going to guess that they're going to have character shards at some point in that store for the Thunderbolts. And then as the chapter progresses, there's going to be more teams added and more teams added. And so that is my interpretation of what that means. So you'll see more and more items included over time. For example, new characters, right? The Intel store will be your one-stop shop for all big items you'll want during the new age. As a reminder, each chapter in the Age of Annihilus will feature its own special store, and chapter 1 store will be called the Intel store. So after the first chapter is done, let's say that's 90 days, it'll be called something else. Maybe it'll be called the Surprise Store. I don't know, whatever they want to call it. But the first store is going to be called the Intel store. So it's going to rotate. If you need a refresher on the announcement of the Intel store, make sure you go back and read our previous blog. Now, some people, there was also mention that if you don't use all the currency, it'll convert over to the shop store currency. And I don't think you're going to want to do that. I think the items in the Intel store are going to be much, 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 much better than the items that we can currently buy. Now, some of those items in this Intel store may go into the legacy shop credit store, but I don't know that that's very clear on the timeline for that. Intel is earned through playing the game daily. No purchases are required to earn it, and we won't be selling it directly to any of our players. Once you have your Intel in hand, the Intel store will be your go-to location for character shards, gear, and resources to boost your roster. Plan on seeing character shards on new characters 2 to 4 weeks following the day a character orb enters the game, so you'll be able to earn shards faster than ever before. So what this is saying is that the shop, the Intel shop, should be updated somewhere between the 2 to 4 weeks after the offers come to the game. Here are some of the big items you'll see in the Intel store: new character shards, diamond for top tier characters, gear tier 19 and 20. Boy, we need those 20s. L4 training modules, purple ISO 8, and T4 ability materials. And they did suggest in one of the strike time videos that possibly at the conclusion of the Intel store, some of these items could go to the shop credit store, which I think is fine. That's great. But I'm going to guess that veteran players are going to have a large abundance of this shop credits, right? I mean, that's what I'm guessing is going to happen. We plan to add even more items regularly, so make sure you're always checking the Intel store as the chapter progresses. Don't forget, this new age is all about engaging in the modes you know and love in Marvel Strike Force. The more you play through the chapter engaging with the Commander Center events, the more intel you'll earn from the Intel store. So play every day and stock up the intel, power up your roster faster than ever before. So what I like about this is that doing well in Crucible or Arena or Alliance War or whatever, right? Right now, we just get this currency and it doesn't really mean much. But if it's all going into Intel and this Intel currency, you know, I'm going to be buying gear tier 20s. I'm going to be buying the Thunderbolts or whatever. And I think that's good because I feel like when the Crucible came to the game and there was a Crucible store, like, it was exciting to get that currency and I could buy things that were meaningful. And then along the way, they just, I don't know if it was neglect, but they just stopped updating those stores. And then we stockpiled currency and we stockpiled currency. And then, you know, when they put an item in there, you know, they waited a million months and they finally put a new character in a respective store because we had so much currency stocked up, we could buy it very quickly. Well, this is kind of ending that situation because this store is going to be rotating. It's going to be, you know, rotating on a 90-day basis, let's say. And so there won't be an incentive to hoard. You just got to spend it. If you do have some left over the 90 days, it's going to basically be converted into a currency that may not be that desirable. I'm guessing that veteran players will have a big abundance of this, like millions, let's say. And so it's like, well, I don't know if you're going to want to do that. I think that this Intel store is designed in a way to get the stuff that moves your account forward, whatever that means to you, whether that'll be new character shards, or for me, I'm going to be going after gear tier 20 for sure. I'm optimistic that this is a good system. It sounds good in theory. As I've said before, having a good idea is fine. Implementing it is what matters. So in concept, I like this idea. We'll see how it is implemented. Bye for now.